Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Rock Nerd Radio Show. As always, I'm Dan. I want to thank you for tuning in today. I have an interesting little video lined up today. I'm going to show off some recent acquisitions, some things that I purchased. The reason why I'm doing this is because over the weekend I got to see two very good friends of mine, each of which had some collectible things for me that they've been meaning to give me that I know other collectors have been getting, so I'm happy to finally get this stuff in my collection and show it off. And I also got to go to the New Jersey ToyCon over the weekend, and I picked up a couple items. Some are some vintage things, some are just some cool custom pieces, and one is something I'm going to be using for a custom. So I figure I'll show them off and have a little fun with that. So real quick, I do want to tell you the two things that my friends were holding for me. My friend Vinny from Dissecting Fiction was able to get me a Doctor Strange, the Walmart Doctor Strange. He ordered it online, and I just haven't seen him in a while. So he was holding on to it. He got one for himself, so they both shipped to his house. And yeah, he's been meaning to get this over to me, so I'm very happy to open this up, that I get to open this up and talk about this today. And the other thing, my really good friend Bob found a Coronation Starscream Studio Series 86 Transformers figure that he found a couple months ago and has been meaning to get to me, and I finally saw him over the weekend, so I finally got my hands on this. Really excited to open this up as well, and check out all the extra little pieces that come with a Starscream figure that I kind of already own. But we'll talk about that as I open it up. So I'll show off some of the things I bought at the New Jersey ToyCon. I will show off the new things that I am opening, and then we'll talk in a minute. So I'll go down to my little coffee table setup, and you get a better eye on the things I picked up. All right, here we go. All right, so now that we're down here on the coffee table, I'll start showing off some of the things that I got this weekend. As I mentioned a moment ago, my friend Bob was able to score a Studio Series 86 Coronation Starscream, and upon first glance, he really does look like the Earthrise Starscream. It is the same mold. His hands can open and close, so this hand is open. You can close it. Amazing. He does come with some interesting stuff in the box, though, I guess to justify that leader class price point. So he has a throne that I'm probably going to stick another Decepticon leader in, not necessarily Starscream. But this is a really cool, and it's like a solid chunk of plastic. It's not like flimsy or anything. So this is a neat accessory. I'll just move that over here for now. And then, of course, and I'll start gearing up Starscream with some of these things. But he comes with two sets of null rays. This set with the gray pegs, I think they're meant to go just on his arms because they sit like the way a null ray would. All right, but then he comes with another set that has the peg a little higher up, and it has a blue peg on it. And the reason for that is because these actually peg into the shoulder pads for Coronation Starscream. So the way this works, there's a peg here, and you can kind of flip that out. Of course, I'm having trouble flipping that out, but you can flip out the peg, and you can plug them right into Starscream's arm. You can tell how often I do things on camera, but there we go. So now that that's on, I can, with this peg hole up here, you can flip this piece down, and you can put the newer null rays here. Come on. There we go. So now they don't impede the movement of the arms or anything, or they don't get in the way of the shoulder pads. So that's probably going to be how I display this one, because the Earthrise one I already have on my shelf. I wanted to do, I'm happy with that we got the Coronation one. And again, I'm just going to plug this on, flip it down, plug the null ray on. There we go. And now we have him with his gaudy shoulder pads. He comes with a leadership crown. And one thing I noticed is that this will click into place. So if you, there you go. You didn't really hear the snap, but it's on there. So now the crown is nice and secure on his head. It's not gonna pop off. And then of course he has a cape. And the thing I like about this cape, there's a hinge here, so you can kind of open it out to make it look a little more dynamic, or if he's just standing there, I guess that's like the calm pose. But I am going to go with the dynamic bit, and the way that gets pegged in, you lift the nose cone here, plug this into the peg hole here, like this. There we go. Put the nose cone back, so now he has that dynamic looking cape, and you can do the whole, you know, who disrupts my coronation pose. I know like every single person who gets this figure does it, but there we go. I'll play with it a little more, so, you know, the whole coronation Starscream. Looking pretty cool. I will probably just put him off, or up on my shelf to match with the rest of the 86 crew that I have a shelf for. But I like it, you know, these move, so like, as you just saw me do it, like I moved this so that the wing can now kind of sit flush, and you can adjust the null raise as you see fit. And of course, you know, you can move the cape as well. So there we go. I really like this. I'm very happy with this. And it will definitely fit, as far as I know, on all your other Seeker jets. So if you want to make Thundercracker or Skywarp or any of the cone heads, your coronation person, you can. The crown most likely won't fit on the cone heads, but there we go. So I'm just going to put Starscream off to the side here. You know, they come with these backdrops. I don't really save the Studio Series backdrops. I tend to just get rid of them, but they are an option. So there we go. Next thing I got was, as I mentioned, my friend Vinny from Dissecting Fiction picked up the Walmart Doctor Strange for me, the classic Doctor Strange. Really, really liking this figure. It looks really cool. I like that the cape doesn't like touch the floor necessarily, so that it's not really getting in the way. And this is like a day of just great figures with capes, I guess. But it is stuck on him. It's molded on, or maybe not molded on, but glued on. So it's not flopping all the time, which I like too. His articulation is a little limited by it. Nothing too bad, but it definitely gets in the way when you're trying to pose him up. Just a little. You know, nothing I'm going to complain about. But Doctor Strange looks great. All your standard Marvel Legends articulation. And this figure comes with a ton of accessories. So let me pull them up here real quick. We get, you have an axe for him. So that is really cool. I know that was from one of the more recent runs of Doctor Strange. I'm probably not going to have him hold this, because I will probably have him hold this, the Wand of Watum, which looks really cool. If I can get it to focus. There we go. You can see all that molded detail in there. That looks really, really nice. I'm definitely going to have him hold that. He comes with a masked head. It's supposed to be during the Strange era. The only problem with this is that it's just the head, and his neck is still flesh colored. So you put it on, it just kind of looks a little weird. I'm pretty sure it's just the Silver Surfer head repainted in blue. So I'm probably not going to do that one very often. He also has a closed eye meditation head. This would look really cool. You know, I had the Astroform Doctor Strange a couple years ago and I sold it. I'm kind of regretting it now, because this would have looked really cool to have him like meditating and like floating, and then have like the Astroform one like floating above him somewhere. I think that would have been kind of neat. He comes with the standard magic effects that Marvel Legends tend to come with. We are used to seeing these things, nothing really new there. And he has a closed fist and a weapon-wielding hand. So I'm going to quickly pop on one of the weapon-wielding hands. All right, I popped on the weapon hand, or the wielding hand, so that he can hold the Wand of Watum in his hand. I do like that. I think it's pretty cool. And I can always stick one of the magic effects over this hand. In fact, if I do that, you could end up with something like that. So I have that loop through his hand, and kind of his hand is also holding part of that magic effect. So there we go. There's Doctor Strange. Really cool. Happy to replace him. I've had the old Toy Biz, or happy to replace the old Toy Biz one, who's been on my shelf for a long time. And this is actually with the Hasbro like Defenders Doctor Strange cape. I had an extra one of those and stuck that on him. But yeah, he's definitely, this Doctor Strange will probably not be displayed in my collection much longer. Just because he's kind of old, outdated. He looks cool. The colors are really cool. Toy Biz did great jobs with the like the shading on some of these figures and things. But yeah, I think I'm ready to replace this one. I've been wanting to do that for a long time. So this Strange probably going into a sell pile of some sort. But of course, Strange will be facing off with the classic-looking Dormammu from the Zemnu Build-A-Figure wave on my shelf. I think they look great together, just their classic kind of appearances. So that'll be fun. Let me slide these back. And now I will get on to some of the things I picked up at the New Jersey ToyCon over the weekend, because that was a lot of fun. One thing that I picked up, and I'll just show this one quick. Someone had an open box and super cheap, an Age of Apocalypse Shadow Cat that has all her accessories. She's 100% complete. The only reason why I bought her, because I already have this one, is I want to turn this into a lady mastermind. And I thought I could easily do that. I could hide the X belt just by kind of turning that around. It doesn't make for the most comfortable looking belt, but I can do that. The hands look pretty good, but they do come off because this figure has interchangeable hands. And she has these gauntlets which can come off. That literally just went flying across the room, so I'll get that in a moment. But, I can give her more like just regular arms. She's not going to have the silver gauntlets. And I think that looks fine. So there we go. Here she is with the gauntlets taking off. So, yeah, basically I'm going to, I have a head that I'm going to use. I have an extra, I think it was a Super Scroll Wave Invisible Woman head that I'm going to stick on here. And Marvel Legends heads, most of them, they're just on a ball joint, so they pop off very easy. I will stick that Invisible Woman head on there and try to have a Lady Mastermind figure. But I don't want to have a headless figure in frame, so I'm just going to slide that one off to the side. Moving along, one of the really cool pickups I got. There is a fantastic just customizing maker, custom item maker. He does custom signs and all kinds of stuff. It is D. Blake's Makes. Treat yourself, custom display signs, accessories, and more. And I will hold his card up for a moment so you can see that. So there we go. Definitely give him a follow on Instagram. Check out his social media. Really, really cool dude. But I picked up 2 items from him. I was only going to pick up one, and then I couldn't resist. So one of the things I got, and this was the one I wasn't planning on getting, he does custom Spider-Man webbing. And this stuff is super flexible, super bendy, super posable. And it just clips onto a Spider-Man figure with this piece. And it looks fantastic. So I will put this down so that I can grab a Spider-Man to show you how this looks. All right, so I'm bringing in my Classics Spider-Man, the retro cardback one, that new buck, the one that everyone seems to be clamoring for. I love this Spider-Man, and if I take off his web hand, and I can kind of just put this over his hand so that it looks like the webbing is flying out to catch a villain, one of Spider-Man's many rogues. So pretty neat stuff. I'm sure if I wanted to, I could pose him up to be look like he's web slinging something and have him in a really cool dynamic pose. But this stuff is fantastic. It looks awesome. He does custom Venom tendril webbing and stuff too. And yeah, I really like the look of it. I wasn't going to buy the webbing until the guy standing next to me at his booth started playing with it, and we were seeing just how flexible and cool it was. So I was like, yeah, I really need that. So that was really neat. I'll keep that in the back. Again, it is D. Blake's Makes. There we go. I'll keep that up for another moment. And then he also does custom signs for your display shelves. So I did pick up the House of X, Powers of 10, X-Men logo. This is probably just going to get stuck on my shelf that I have. I have a dedicated Hoxpox wave shelf, because that wave came out, beginning of last year now? I forget how long it's been. Pardon me crinkling the bag as I open. So, yeah, so it's a flat back, so it could easily be mounted. And there we go. These are all handmade, 3D printed, and then hand-painted. And this will look great on a shelf. He has logos for, everything. So Spider-Man, X-Men, DC characters, Mortal Kombat, G.I. Joe, Transformers. He's got it all. This will look really cool, I think, either in front of the shelf or maybe on the wall behind my shelf, so something like that. Really neat stuff. Again, that is D. Blake Makes. And here's another shot of his business card. Definitely check him out. Email him if you're interested in his stuff. I think you'll be really happy with what you find. And finally, the last bit, I have Spider-Man's web coming at the camera here, so let me just move that a bit. The last bit of stuff that I got, I picked up 2 vintage pieces while I was out. on at New Jersey ToyCon this weekend, and I'm very excited for these. The first one, I'll show off one of my favorite Transformer characters. I got a Generation 2 blue Grimlock. I have a very large Grimlock collection, which one day I'll probably show off on camera. But this is just a full-on G2 Grimlock in all his blue mid-90s goodness. I've never owned a G2 Grimlock. I've been looking for one for a little while, and every time I find one, I'm never really happy with like the price or what people are looking for, the condition. This one's in pretty good condition, and I got it for a pretty good deal. So I will transform him real quick, because that's going to become relevant in just a moment. So, you know, stay tuned with this. There we go. If you've never seen anyone transform a G1 Grimlock before, it's actually not terrible. Unless things don't want to move the way they should. So there we go. Bring out his hands. All right, I will flip his legs down. The legs seem to be a little stuck. There we go. I do not want to break this on camera. That would be embarrassing. There we go. So here is a G2 Grimlock, fully transformed and looking fantastic. I'm very happy to finally have a G2 Grimlock in my collection. But going along with this, I decided... Oh, just knocking stuff down. Thanks, Grimlock. Going along with this, I decided I needed something else in my collection that I saw at the show. And this was not something I was planning on buying. It was just something that I saw and was like, okay, yeah, I'll buy it. And it was a Generation 2 Snarl. So there are 3 G2 Dinobots, Slag or Slug, whatever you want to call them now, Snarl and Grimlock. I've never had a G2 Snarl before, and I saw him, and I was thinking about buying him. I wasn't sure, and then I saw Grimlock, and I was like, well, if I buy Grimlock, I have to buy Snarl. They were from 2 different vendors, so I figure I'll transform him real quick so you can see what he looks like. Again, I want to be careful. I don't want to break anything on camera. These are vintage pieces, so sometimes the joints get a little stuck, but honestly, this Snarl is just in beautiful condition. It was one of those things where I wasn't planning on buying it. I saw it, and then I kind of, as I said, with the Grimlock, I just like, all right, well, now I have to. But it's in such good condition that I even tried to, like, haggle the price a little bit, and the guy knew exactly what he had, and he was not going to budge. So, it's all right, though. For a vintage piece like this, I'm actually very happy paying what I paid. So here we go. Here is Snarl, looking pretty fantastic next to Grimlock. And honestly, the main reason why I did this was because the last time I went to New Jersey ToyCon, I picked up a G2 Slag. So now I have all 3 G2 Dinobots. It makes me very, very happy. I know there are a couple variations in colors on Grimlock and stuff like that, but I'll probably just stick to these 3. So I will have to rearrange my Generation 2 shelf to fit them all on, or maybe I'll just put them all on like my Grimlock and Dinobots shelf. I have to figure out what I'm going to do with that, but this is pretty much everything I picked up. So I'll take some pictures so you can see things a little more in depth. And otherwise, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, listen to the Rock Nerd Radio Show on all your favorite podcast platforms, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.